and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
That's right.
You see how before it was done like as in the days of Noah, right? This time it's going to be the days of Noah. It means there was people partying and being bull, being rubbish, man. But now the same thing we're seeing was done in the old, is done in the new. They've got coliseums where they're watching gladiators, watching the football, man. That's the same Roman coliseums we're seeing today. Oh, we're coming up, watching the football. That's the same thing they're saying.
That's what they're all right now.
That's the same thing we're seeing today. That's right.
That's right.
That same Roman spirit. And read this, brother.
This is the book of Revelation chapter 3 verse 3.
Revelation is spitting the same thing. Read this book.
Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent.
So you need to remember what the brothers have been saying. Every time you come up, you've been hearing more and more. So you've been getting fed.
So
you're getting marked.
Lucky you're people who are not there. So brother, I forgot hearing your word. Brother, we just read it. We just read it in First Peter chapter 3 and First Peter chapter 4:17. It says, to them that obey not the God. Read that again, because he's asking that you gotta listen, you gotta hold fast. Read that.
Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast
So hold
and
fast
repent.
and repent. Alright, read.
If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief.
If you shall not be watchmen, like how we're watching the times, telling you about all of these things that are coming to pass, okay? Because it's biblical. That are the Ezekiel 9 and 4s. The ones that are sighing and crying on the streets. Go and read, King.
I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee.
Read that again, because he said, and I shall what? And I shall come upon thee.
I will come on thee as a thief.
So the thief in the night, alright? He shall come upon thee as a thief.
And thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee.
Because no man knoweth the time or the hour. That's right. No one can say, oh, the destruction, the Armageddon, the Gideon, the Babylon are going to be destroyed at a specific time. No one knows. Read that one more time. Hey, just go away.
Just go away with that. You don't know who you are. Just go away.
We don't want it up here.
We don't want people like you anymore.
Just go. Then keep going there.
Oh, we don't care about your food. Just go. No, you don't know nothing. Just keep going.
Give me some. Get me some. Chapter 14. Get me some. 14 and 1.
Psalms 14 and 1. All right.
Read your
Give me Psalms 14 and 1.
This is the book of Psalms chapter 14 and verse 1. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt.
They are what?
They are corrupt.
They are
corrupt.
Read, bro.
They have done abominable works.
This guy deals with banditry, man.
That's right.
That's right.
There's what?
There is none that do good.
Because everything to do with the Sadhu Netta, the Amun Ras, all of them things are damn idol worship. And it's, brother, one second, brother. Brother, look, everything to do with Egyptology is damn faggotry, man. Alright? They deal with penises, man. Alright, now read that, King.
This is the book of Proverbs 13 and 13.
Bring it out.
Whosoever despiseth the word shall be whosoever despises the word shall be destroyed.
Shall be what?
Shall be destroyed.
This man is a dead man walking. Right? He don't even know what his nationality is, man. My man was talking about age. David was a young man and all the elders was bigging up David.
David never existed. He never
David never existed.
Let's bring the
verse 13. When ye have forsaken me and served other gods, wherefore I will deliver you no more.
And that's what's going on right now because our people are worshiping other God, man. They're worshiping other God and they think that they're in the right mind. Egyptology came to Europe by a French guy and a British guy. All right? You don't know nothing about it.
Go and pray unto the gods you have chosen.
God, man.
Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation.
Right, so in that time when the Most High bring the judgment, just go to Amen Ra, man.
That's right.
Don't say to Yahawah. Go to Amen Ra, man.
Bring it out. It's the book of Jeremiah 4 and 12:22. For my people is foolish.
You got a brother here trying to promote his book over the scriptures. His book, nothing. Listen, those into Egyptology have never come out on the streets and tried to edify their people. No. All they do is come out and try to say, oh, what you're doing is no good.
He's a demon.
Yeah? They've never brought nothing for our people. What do you get out of Egypt? Homosexuality. Yeah, come on, my brother.
And now you don't worship us.
Oh, right.
Jeremiah 4 and 22.
Hold on. The Most High destroyed the Egyptians. Yes, so as much as this guy can try and bring back Egypt, Egypt is dead.
Egypt's a dead place.
For my people is foolish. They have not known. For they are such as children, and they have none understanding.
Right, they have no understanding, man.
They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge.
All they do is run their mouth. Listen, what you have, right? Hold on. Listen.
Where did the commandments come from? No, tell me. Where did the commandments come from?
Let me talk.
Look at that there.
You gonna let me talk?
It's our knowledge that
You gonna let me talk?
That's where it comes from.
What's that? Talking about what commandment? What commandment?
Where did it come from?
How can you stand there not
Where did it come from?
How can you stand there?
I don't even know that. Are you trying to say they come from the laws of Baha?
You're supposed to do research.
Are you trying to say they come from the laws of Baha?
Where else they come from?
What? 48 laws? They're not even laws. They are confessions. They're not laws.
Right. Hold on. You know what he's talking about.
They are not laws. They are confessions. Yeah? Listen, when you listen to Dr. Ben, what did Dr. Ben say? Dr. Ben said that if those are laws, they must come from something that said thou shalt not.
That's right.
Yeah? They are confessions. And a lot of them he's not begging you. He's not begging you. What do you know? A lot of brothers into Kemet.
I have his books.
So what are you doing with his books? What are you doing with his books then?
No, I've written 12 books myself.
And what good are they?
And where are you?
It make you worse, man. Listen, that's not what you're talking about.
You got
No.
5 billion copies.
Throw your books away.
5 billion copies. 5 billion copies.
Have you heard of the gap spell 700?
Listen, I don't use
Yes or no? It's an Egyptian law. It's an Egyptian law.
He's talking about your book.
It's a Kemet law. Have you heard of the gap spell 700? Your own children. You're a madman, bro. You do it once. Now get me Leviticus chapter 18. Bro, let's get serious. Leviticus 18.
He just said something.
No, let's read this.
Let's calm down.
Let me answer. So what did you do? Let me answer what he said.
So who are you? We're doing things according. Do you have anything to ask the brothers that are teaching, okay? Who are you? Are you Christian?
One second. Let me address that. Yeah? So look, so do you know about that God thing? God gap?
The Ixus are invaders of Kemet.
Hold on. So look, do you know that you've got the God that has the head, the newt, the toot, the rock, have you heard of them gods? But do you know what he's talking about? Do you know of them? Yeah? Do you know the God gap? Yeah. Do you know he's a pedophile? Yes or no? Is he a pedophile? No, answer the question. See how he's trying to convert the verse? Yes or no? Is he a pedophile? That's from his son.
Yeah,
Yes or no? Let me still learn.
Do your research.
Let's get in the spirit.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt,
Wherein we dwell,
shall ye not do.
Shall ye not do. Alright, Israelites, after the being in the spirit, after the doings of Egyptians, right? We shouldn't do that. Understand? Read it.
After the doings of the land of Canaan,
All praises to Yahawah, Hashem, Yahushua, man. And the wicked flee, and we read the verses, man. When we don't read the verses, they will stand up and debate all day. Let's just bring out the word. Read, King. Read, King.
whither I bring you, shall ye not do.
So whether we're in London, whether we're in America, whether we're in West Africa, we shall not do the biddings of Egypt, man.
Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
We're not going to walk with no unk on our chest. That's right. All right? Because the unk, it signifies the woman over the man, the vagina over the man. We've been speaking about that all day, that there's an order. And the order is that men is the Most High, the Son of Man, men, women, then the children.
That's right.
Right. Then he said that the Bible, right, is not a real book, right? But we want to, because he left the sea and he went. And he's going to go home and thinking like, oh, actually the prophet. So we're going to prove to you that actually the Bible is the only book, right, out of all of these books that actually talk about prophecy. All right? That's how you know what's what. A book that can tell you what's going on today, that's what you need. So we're going to read a book. I mean, we're going to read a precept. All right? We're going to read something that happened to us as a people. That's in the Bible. And we're going to explain it. Right, since you say that the Bible is a fake book, is the worst book, we're going to prove it. We're going to prove it is a true book.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1.
Listening. Do you believe in the Bible? Do you believe in the scriptures? Well, what it is, our people have never been to the Bible properly. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you that it's actually a real book, a true book. And one of the things that separates the Bible from all these other stuff is what's known as prophecy. And we're using the King James. The reason why we use that because we find it the most accurate. But what they don't tell you, they'll talk about this as a white man book, but they tend to forget. What they tend to forget that there's scripts, there's scrolls that this is translated from, and they don't go into those scrolls. So we're going to read some prophecy.
Because he was saying that this book is only 2,000 years old, which is a lie. He was talking about the Torah. The Torah goes way back. All right? Way back. Now we're going to prove to you one precept about an event that took place in our community that's in the Bible. Because I'm sure the book that he's reading can't give him them sort of accurate. You got that as well. You got that as well, which I can bring. But I'm going to show you another, the old prophecy that took place.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it reads, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently."
This will come to pass if thou hearken diligently.
And what's happening now? Moses is speaking to the children of Israel. That's who we are. We're getting into a binding covenant with our God. Yes, it says it's going to happen, God.
If thou shalt hearken diligently
You listen carefully.
unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
And when you read 2 to 14, those are the blessings if these people listen to what the Most High says, keep his commandments, right? Verse 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
There's certain curses, 16 to 68 are the curses. When you go through those curses, we're currently living through some, and some has become our history. Now we're going to read one of them to you, 68.
Verse 68 of Deuteronomy 28.
Yeah.
And it reads, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So it says it's going to bring us into Egypt. Now when you read the scriptures, there's a meaning for that word Egypt. And now listen, I'm just going to bring it up.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 6. And it reads, I am the Lord Yahawah thy God power, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
So Egypt is being referred to as the house of bondage. Another word for bondage is slavery. Yeah? So listen to this curse again, 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt
So he's going to
again
bring you into Egypt or slavery again.
with ships.
Now what group of people do you know in history went into slavery on ships? No, what people do you know? What people do you know in history went into slavery on ships?
Which people?
Yeah, exactly. But these, but these curses are for what people? They're on Israelites.
Right.
So it's identifying who these people are. You've got people in Israel today claiming. To understand prophecy, you need to know their history. There's no history of those people in Israel going into slavery on ships. Right? So read that again, 68.
Yeah. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again
He's going to bring you into slavery again
with ships,
God.
by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
Meaning as a nation, you won't see our homeland, which is Israel. God.
And there
Once you get off the ships,
ye shall be sold unto your enemies,
it says you shall be sold unto your enemies,
for bondman
slave man,
and bondwomen.
slave woman. Now, who were we sold to when we got off those ships? Read that bit again.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondman and bondwoman.
Now, you're not going to go into anything in Egypt that's going to show you who you are. This is just one we've read out of many. Quickly get 47.
Verse 47 of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart.
What we're bringing out, I want you to think of what other nation is going through this. Quickly read 29 and 1.
Verse Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 1. And it reads, these are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel.
This is who these curses are upon. This covenant was made with the children of Israel. So when we're bringing this out, I want you to think of what other nation these fit. Because we as a people, we go around calling ourselves black, Negroes, all kind of different things. We don't know who we are. But this is what we do. We come to teach the people that the Bible is a true book, but what our enemies gave us was religion, which is not biblical. This is why you got Muppets like that going back to Egypt. Because they debased us as a people and gave us the history of another race of people.
And also, what you need to understand is this, right? See, he's talking like that. I can't blame him because when he was growing up, the type of, Bible he read or the type of spirituality that was before him was the Greco-European, the Greco-Roman Christianity. See, there's two different things. You got the interpretation of the white man, but the book is not given to him though. But he comes with his own way of understanding this book, and he's creating churches. People go there, so when you listen to that, and then you got a bit of sense, it's like, oh, that's brainwashing. So I get him. But what I want you to understand is that we not them pastor that you see in those churches, man. We actually deal with the Bible, and when you read the Bible, the white man never he can't because that Bible condemns him.
That's right. Well, you know who he is,
right? And that Bible is our history, man. But when you read it, you understand it. That's us. That's our constitution. That's our book of law. But he's saying that. What he's saying that. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people say, oh, these people was written by the white man. No, it wasn't written by the white man. The Greco-Roman church was created by him. But as far as the Bible, the real understanding, he ain't got it.
What about the ones that aren't in there? Like,
no, we got it. We got it. But what happened is that in the 1900s, the Protestants, once they break out from the Catholics, what they do is like, they now take out. No. Yeah, you got a Bible that has it. But most Bible that you know don't have it, right?
No.
They took it out.
Yeah.
And that's what they call apocrypha mean hidden. Alright? They're hiding it for different reasons. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. I'll give you one example. Like when you read the book of Maccabees, there's a part where they actually stopped us. Did someone go to that, man? First Maccabees, 1 and 50, maybe 51, 56.
First Maccabees 1.
Let me read this one.
First Maccabees 1 and 49.
The Monty Bible, what the thing is the thing.
Listen, because you know, sometimes when something is good, there's distraction. So learn to be focused, right? Someone has it.
41.
Listen to this.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So the heathens agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Now this happened under the Greeks, sister.
King James Bible.
Sis, under the Greeks, this is what they did to our people under the Greeks. And when you look at history, a similar thing happened to us during the transatlantic slave trade.
Verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consent to his religion, and sacrifice unto idols, and postpone the Sabbath. Profane the Sabbath. For the king has sent a letter by messenger to Jerusalem and the city of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
Right. And that's what they did, right? After that, jump to 54. After that. So what they did, my sister, what they did is that they took off that book because that book hold a lot of information that they did to us. The reason why today we don't know who we are even right now. The reason why, I'll give you an example. The Gentile, when you read the New Testament, it talks about the Gentile. It tells you like, oh, we went to the Gentile. What they did is that they took out the apocrypha because they have one. It clearly teaches you that the Gentiles are those of our people who left our culture and went into the Greek fashion.
Okay.
So you got a lot of information that are in the apocrypha that has to be taken out for the brainwashing to be effective.
Right.
So now read 54.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 54. Now, the 50th day of the month, Silas, in the 140 and 55.
Start at 50 as well. Jump to 51st.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Right. So if you didn't follow the law, you would die. If you circumcise your children, which is part of our culture, you will go to death.
Sorry?
If you circumcise your child in that time,
It's in the
you
fourth
have a boy, and you circumcise him, and then find out, they'll put you to death.
Really?
But basically what they were doing is like they were stopping us.
It's a hiding.
Yeah, but what they were doing is discontinuing us from who we are. It's like in slavery. 1 minute you see the Roots, you see Roots.
Yeah.
1 minute his name's Kunta, next minute his name is Toby. That's what they were doing, discontinuing us from who we are.
After some good buck breaking though.
Yeah.
After some good
354
buck
now.
breaking.
Yeah.
You see, when that decree was written, Antiochus made that decree. Like this is why now Antiochus was the king at that time.
Okay.
He made that decree, and he made like the Israelites stop circumcising their children; they were being put to death. Some of the mothers, like who, when they were caught with their children circumcised, had to hang the babies round their neck and had to parade through the city. That was a judgment by Antiochus.
Yeah, read 54 now.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 54. Now, the 50th day of the month, Cashew,
That's one of our feasts. We do have our own feast. You see the
And what month?
the Christmas.
That 50th day, what month is that
15th
in?
day of the 9th month. So
15th
day
of the 9th.
Day of the 9th month, according to our calendar. If you got a calendar.
Yeah.
Even right now, we do follow our own feast. We don't follow Christmas, the Easter,
Right.
and that. We
Yeah,
out of it.
yeah,
The
no.
Bible tells you to come out of Babylon.
Yeah.
The best way to do it is to start following what the Bible actually speaks about. I mean, telling us to do. All right? But my point is the reason why his brother is got down, not him, the other guy with the other. The reason why he came with all that foolishness because that happened to him. Like the brainwashing was serious. That's why he would say that, oh, he doesn't trust the Bible because a lot of information was withheld.
Yeah.
Because he didn't promise. And the one that was pushed out is like slave, obey your master. But the slave, obey your master, even that kind of is a wording thing. In our time, a slave is a worker. So basically, if I had a business, I get one of my brothers to come and work for me. After 7 years, if you want to go and start his own business, I let him up and I give him some money to start. Right? So now you got a servant. When you go to work, you got a servant, you get payment, you're a servant. Alright? But you say that slave obey your master, that has nothing to do with the truth in the Bible. It speaks about employee respect your boss.
Yeah.
But they will use it and they will twist it and they will say slave obey. So these are the techniques that they use using the Bible. But the Bible itself has nothing to do with what the slave master was pushing.
that's to quickly add to what the brother's
It's
saying.
not the experiences of the slave, the Bible. It's the Bible, not the story of the slave.
No, it's the record of our forebears.
It's a prophetic writing.
But to quickly add on to what
No. I'll answer this question. You see, the reason why it's a beautiful question. You see, the reason why they stopped the slave from reading the Bible, right?
you find out who you are.
Because you see, in the Bible, what did he say again? The Bible, the experience of the slave. Yes, it is. Because if you were a slave and you read the Bible, you will know who you are. So they say, don't read the Bible. And now they change the Bible and they took off a lot of things and they give you a sort of Bible.
Yeah. That they would.
That's right.
See, that's what they did. Yes, my brother.
have you ever seen the film called The Birth of a Nation?
Birth of a Nation.
When you watch that film, it's basically about a slave called Nat Turner. What he did, he was reading the Bible. And when he was reading the Bible, he was going back and rereading it, and he was seeing a lot of things that pertain onto our people during that slavery time. It's a true story. And then what they did, when he started realizing it and he did an uproar, he did an uprising, he was saying, no, we need to kill our oppressors. Like, God was telling us to kill our oppressors. But there's a time, and there's a time for everything. At that time, Most High uses the Bible and uses events in life for our record, so we can see it. So we already know through that kind of actions, that action's got to come to fruition, but through prophecy. But we have to wait in patience. Because of the oppressors realized that we was reading this and we are a mighty people, they said, give them a slave Bible. So they started taking it out. But what they did to Nat Turner, they took his skin, and many of our men and our babies took our skin and used it for like leather, used it for the books, used it for all of that, because it was to strike fear amongst our people. Because we were reading certain
Isn't that what a lot of people in Hollywood do as well?
Exactly, but then in Hollywood, you cannot get into Hollywood because it's owned by the oppressors. You cannot get into Hollywood without reading the scriptures. So they know certain things about us that they use to control us, and they know that there's certain people among our people that are wicked will sell our people out. So when you start reading into the Maccabees and everything, and you start adding up the history, and you go into it, you break it down, you realize that God's only dealing with one nation of people. He's not dealing with the world. And they were quick to bring that John 3:16 to you, but then you have to go back and understand who's the world he's
Very
talking
good, my
about.
brother. Very good. That's right. You see the John 3:16 an example. Yeah. This is why. John 3:16 will say, "Oh, so God so loved the world, so He gave His only Son to walk. Whosoever believe, that's a lie. Because you see, it was translated in English, but before it was translated in English, you got Greek, you got the Hebrew. All right, and the word, what's the word for word? Cosmos. So the cosmos would be a word of musician, a word of actors, the C words, sport words. But in that one, when you break down the John 3:16, you will understand something about the word of the Israelites. Because this Bible is for the Israelite people. This Bible, Jesus, the one you got, Jesus didn't come for everyone. That's one misconception, all right, that we have because of Christianity.
Precept. So this is just a precept to what I was we were saying about them changing things and keeping different laws and who the book's pertaining to. And this is what they took out of the Maccabees. Yeah? This is why they won't let us read it. This is 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48. Right. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathens.
When it says they opened the book of the law, this is the book of the law.
Yeah.
This is what these other nations did. They opened this book,
which the heathens has sought to paint the likeness of their image.
Look at that leaflet there. What do you see on the leaflet? Who's that meant to be?
That's right.
You don't know who that is?
No, that's true. But who did they say that is?
They said that this
That's
is
right.
But that's what it says. They opened the books and sought to paint the likeness of their images. When you read the book, it says that he's got skin feet like burnt brass. That don't look like no.
Here's another precept. So here's another precept to back it up. So this is the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Now who's ruling the earth now? Because if we were ruling...
Elizabeth.
What did he say then?
Who are the people from? Elizabeth is from who?
Hold on.
That family that's
No, but I'm saying, what's the
nationality?
Exactly.
So it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
And this is the book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 4.
That's right.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished.
It says, whereas Edom, we all have a biblical nationality. That's what they've not taught us. We are Israelites. The same people you just mentioned, this is their biblical nationality.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
Right.
Thus saith Yahawah of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them.
Stop there. It says, they shall call them. Not him or her, singular. Plural. They shall call them, Edom.
The border of wickedness.
The what?
The border of wickedness.
They're the border of wickedness.
So they are the wicked according to the Bible.
And the people against whom Yahawah have indignation forever.
So there's a group of people in the Bible that the Bible teaches you that the Most High hates them forever. And when it says the border of wickedness, like, all nations does some kind of wickedness, but these people, they always seem to go that. It's like, who would actually think of, you know what, I want to put fear in these people, so let me look for the biggest man, tie him over a barrel, and go to uncle.
And they're building the desolate places. Like how you said in Egypt. Is,
just leave it alone, man. Go your way. So it's a demon in Brixton.
So where it says Edom, they will build the desolate places, isn't it? Like, so that's what they're doing now. They go to Egypt, and one thing the brother was saying about the Maccabees, in chapter 1, it talks about Alexandria. Alexandria is mentioned in the book of Maccabees chapter 1. They don't want us to know that they are the wicked that are impoverished. Because they went to Egypt, and they've got a place in Egypt called Alexandria. So they go there and they name lands after their own names. That's where it talks about this.
Right, well, now we're coming back to what I was saying earlier. his brother saying that the Bible is the worst book ever, right? So I say, let's prove to you that the Bible is not actually the worst book, but the Bible do hold prophecy. To prove to you the slave trade that the blacks went through. It's proof that it's a prophecy, right? Now, as the brother speaks, what they're bringing out, they even tell you who the white man is in the Bible. And this Bible condemns you. Huh?
That's right.
Edomites. So their name, Edomites.
The heathen.
Heathen is other nation, isn't it?
Heathen means other nation. Yeah. What society has taught you is heathen just means someone that's a barbarian, blah blah blah. Which they are because they're not of the Most High. So that's a heathen. Same way they say we're all Gentiles. Gentile just means to be a foreigner of a foreign land. So yes, we are Gentiles in the land of our captivity, but to the Most High, we are Israelites. So we're not like the other nations. Because the so-called white man knows he's a Caucasian. The so-called Chinese man knows that he's a Chinese man. The Elam man knows he's Elam. But we call ourselves Black British, Caribbean, St. Lucian, West Africans, West Indians. We call ourselves Western savages, but these are names given to our oppressors.
Yeah.
So we have to identify that if they all got their
We're human.
no, but we're all human, but God has
People of you.
of you. Yeah, we're human. We're human because we have hue means to be melanated.
That's right.
But you need to understand as well, the Egyptians are hue because they're melanated, but they're not the same as us. That's why there was confusion. Yeah. Sorry, King. Yeah, let's bring that precept out.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and 16. It reads, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things.
So the portion